Hey everyone, Tyler Ekdahl here, Tokens Pro staff member. I'm here today to talk to you guys and go through some things about tools, basic tools, how to use them. We're going to go through some options and stuff. Tokens has an excellent line out of tools for beginners or advanced tires of all. We're going to go through whip finisher, hackle pliers, bobbin, couple different pairs of scissors, and good old bodkin. This trinket, deer stacker, deer hair stacker, elk hair stacker. And we're also gonna go through a little bit of resin and curing, and maybe a little bit of how to use dubbing wax. So we'll get going here shortly. So we're gonna start out with the bobbin. Bobbin is the tool you use to hold your thread, feed your thread. It's obviously very important. Pop your thread in like that. There's usually two little holes on each side. Just feeds in there. And there's a tool you can use to feed your thread through. But unfortunately, I don't do it that way. And I probably should, because I kind of learned today that it might not be the best to suck it through. But the way I do it is I wet the very tip of the thread a little bit. Right? And I take it, and I feed it right through that little hole. Just a little bit. It's fed through. You can take the bottom, and I just suck through. And your thread comes through. Probably not the best way, but it works. So this is your bobbin. Best way to start here, take your hand that's not holding the bobbin, put some tension on it, start a couple wraps, back over your thread, and that's it. You can use tension by resting your finger on the bobbin if you want, but usually a tension on is pretty good. And that's feeding by itself, pulling the thread all the way through for people who don't know how to use a bobbin or haven't used a bobbin before. That's your bobbin. They come in many different shapes and sizes and colors and all different trinkets. That's your basic use of a bobbin. So next we're going to be going over some scissors here. Scissors it's weird. There's many different types of scissors: fine tip, short tip, longer 4-inch, 6-inch. But it's all really finding the pair of scissors you like. Tokens has multiple pairs of nice scissors that you can check out: curved, slim, gold, silver, and in fact the new one to me today is the Spring Scissors Straight 4.5 Gold Loop. And I'm actually really excited about these. I've seen them today, and I've seen people use this style of scissors before, but I never had a chance to try them out. But yeah, they're super cool here. Take a look. Little Tokens logo on the inside, if I can get it. Yeah. How these work is you just press here, and these ones, I don't know, I have something about these I really like. They're super sensitive, barely touch them. I like those. I'm going to try those in a second here. I'm going to bring this bobbin back up. There we go. And yeah, so let's, best way to cut your thread with these scissors is obviously to pull this up nice and tight. Come in on an angle and have it as, I rest it up against the shank of the hook. Give it a snip. Clean cut, no tag left over. Let's go through another cut here because I was excited to try these new pair of scissors. I want to see how close we can cut them. So again, throw on a piece of thread. Pull this with your opposite hand nice and tight. Come in with the brand new pair of scissors I haven't tried that I feel are going to be super nice. Rest your scissors on the shank of the hook and come in and give a clip. Once again, no tag. These are actually really nice. I like the feel of them. And you're going to have different scissors for... I have a favorite pair of scissors for trimming thread. I have other scissors that are kind of beat down and dull that I'll use to cut feathers and stuff. Some scissors have like a... If you look in there, like a built-in little wire cutter in the very middle there. So I use those scissors to chop out wire sometimes if I don't want to have to break it off by hand. So yeah, get a few pair of scissors. You're gonna need them, and pick your favorite one. So far, I would suggest checking these out. I was pretty excited with these. Pardon me, the spring scissors, straight 4.5-inch gold loop from Togen's Fly Shop. There, see if I can get that in there. Probably not. Nice though. I like them. So next thing I'm gonna go through here is maybe we'll go through a little bit of dubbing wax. You can get through Togen's, of course. It really helps out, helps keep the dubbing on the thread. So what you do with this dubbing wax, take it. It's like chapstick. Get your chapstick, rub a bit on your thread here. You can see it all there. At this point, me myself, I like to rub it in a little bit with my fingers there. I don't like it too much. Take some strands of dubbing and just slowly twist it on there, clockwise, counterclockwise. It just really helps it stick on there and solidifies it on the thread. You got a nice little dubbing thread here. We'll put that guy on, wrap it up. Nice and sticky. Right. Okay, so next tool we're going to go through, if I have a piece of something here, let's see in my scrap pile, there we go, is hackle pliers. This little guy, use it to grip onto anything really. I use it to hold wires. It's specifically designed for holding hackle because sometimes it's hard to hold on to. But these little guys are great for holding wire, holding materials out of the way. Yeah, so anyways, I'm going to show you how to use it. So I'll take back here. I'll tie in a little piece of hackle. Usually I would cut this piece out, but for demonstration purposes, not even gonna bother. We'll just wrap it up here like that. Sure, looks good. So, take your hackle pliers, pinch them open. Grab the end of a feather, pinch, and release. And there you go. It holds it for you. Gives you a little more control with it when wrapping up. So you can have proper tension on it and not break. And it gives you good control. Like as you can see, I can twist this and you can watch your fibers and which way they're going to be bending, which I kind of tied my feather on here backwards a little bit, but that's okay. Push the hackle back. They're a great little tool. Like I said, I use them for wire, for hackle, for all sorts of things. Really good. You can literally leave it dangling there. Come across with a wrap or two. Whoops. Yeah. Anyways, sorry about the camera. I think we're gonna go through today is good old whip finisher. A funny looking tool. It spins nicely. There's probably a few different ways to use these, and I'm gonna go through them here for you. It can be a little tricky. Sometimes when I first learned, I actually I found a picture diagram that showed me step by step. It was a little easier to understand, but we're gonna try to go through it here through a video on the way I use it. Might be a little backwards to some people, but it works good for me. So when you're done your fly, whatever you've tied, so far we have tied absolutely nothing. When you're back up or you're finishing off a material or something, you gotta whip finish it. Thread's a little afraid there. To hold everything in. And usually you do multiple whip finishes too to hold it all in. So the way I do it here is I take this little hook piece, I hook it down on the thread. See? Hook it down on the thread. Then I come across and I go around. So hook down on the thread, go behind this and around. And now this thread is now in front towards me. Right? And you got this little shape here. Now you're going to come up and you're just going to keep this hand where it is. It stays right there, back, resting on your vise wherever you want it. And you're going to take and you're now going to spin this whip finish. 3, 4, 5 times, doesn't really matter. If you don't want a big head, you can do less whips. So now that I've spun it 3 times, I push it all the way over here, and it's going to pop out right here. You want to take that off. And now the only thing left holding on is this piece. So some people like to bring it up here, and now you're going to pull with your bobbin. And me, myself personally, I like to come down here. So then you pull all the way up to the top, slide this piece out, done. That's a knot. Not going to break after we put some head cement or resin or something on it. So a lot of times if you're doing a leech or an nymph or something, you can afford having a bigger head. You can whip finish multiple times. With my chironomids, I'll only whip finish twice, 2 whips around, finish, done, and I'll put multiple coats of resin on it so it's strong. Anyways, we're going to go through this again. Whip finish like this. Come down on it with the point. On the other side of this, towards the camera, away from you, go around this, oops, and make that shape. And like I said, this thread is now facing towards you on your side. At this point, this hand stays still, and now you're just going to go around as many times as you want. Like I said, 3, 4 is lots. And when you get to that point, you now push this way until that pops out of there. The thread pops right out of this little round piece here. And now the only thing holding on is your hook. You're now going to pull with this across and up. And slowly take this out. Pull for a little tension. Done. That's your whip finish. Come in with the new fancy scissors we were talking about earlier. And give that a cut. We can also go through our bodkin here. Now's the time because I'm going to apply a little resin or head cement to my fly. Which at this point I like to use, I always use a Raid Zap resin. We're going to go through that in a second. But for now I'm just going to show you how to use the bodkin. So I'm going to put a little dab of resin right on there. Bodkin I use to spread everything around. Now you can take this and work that resin into all the thread. There we go. Quick hit with the UV light. We're going to go through this one in a second anyways. And done. We'll go right through that in 1 second. So we're going to go through a little bit about UV resins, which I love and use lots. I use lots of Raid Zap, but also Loon. I use a lot of Loon resin as well. Togans has both. You can check that out there. Me myself, some people have had it's kind of it's a little bit harmful stuff. There's lots of airborne chemicals going on that's not good for you. There's also some resins where people have had reactions and stuff. So I suggest usually having a fan on. I'm right by an absolute open window and have a fan on low in the background. Don't breathe it in. Don't ingest it. Don't lick your fingers afterwards. Don't put your face in front of it. Try your best to coat it. Stay away. It's mainly when you're curing it is the problem with the light. But anyways, just safe practice with this stuff. It can be harmful. If you're not a resin guy, you can always go get some Sally Hansen's clear nail polish and stuff. But this stuff is great, so don't miss out. Just use it properly. So what we do is we take this is a super thin Raid Zap resin. Take it and you apply some on your fly, which we got Chironomid right now. Take your bodkin that we're going through earlier. This thing comes key when you're starting to use resins on Chironomids, because it really helps you spread it nice and even. Filling in any little gaps if you have any gaps, really smoothing everything out, building your shape. Also really helps when I'm doing scuds when a lot more resin's involved. Now this is a time where you're going to take this is a Togens UV light. And this is a time where you want to be careful. Me with the fan on, window open, as I'm curing it, I'm still blowing away from me, keep my face away from it. You turn on your UV light, and you hit that, blow it. Your curing time is always different on what resin you're using and what light you're using. I like to always go a little longer because just to make sure everything's done. There you go. I like to also hit my bodkin. Freezes it on there, but I just peel it off with my nail later. And that's UV resin and how to use it. It obviously protects your fly, but also gives it a nice clear coat. This is a wood duck Chironomid pattern with ASB and anti-static bag and black ribbing. The copper top, some gills, but you can see it gives it that really nice gassy look. Nice glass over top of your Chironomids. But I also use my resins. There's all different thick resins, thin resins. This is thick. It's all depending on what procedure you're using and what type of fly you're trying to tie and stuff. But we can get into that later in a more in-depth resin video. So what do we have left here? Going through, and I know we haven't done stacking hair yet. That's a fun one I saved for last because sometimes it can make a mess. But we'll see. So, let's bring you over a little bit. Deer stacker. Deer stacker. I said it twice now. Hair stacker. I just tie with a lot of deer hair. So, this guy. Used to get the tips of your hair that you're going to use all lined up for me when I'm trying to tie a caddis or something. So, what you do, take a pinch of deer hair, elk hair, whatever. We're going to cut it. See? Cut it. See all these fluffies here? I don't know if you can. There you go. Pull them up. Sit there, rub your finger on it, clear it all out. You can see it all. Makes a mess. Have a vacuum. Be ready. It's a war with this stuff. Now you see, my tips are all over the place. All over the place. So, take your deer hair stacker. Take it. Feed them all down in there. can kind of pull out ones that didn't make it through. See it all? You take this guy, and you just bash it up and down on your table. Bang, bang, bang. A few taps, don't need many. Right? Tap, tap, tap. Now, take it horizontally. Give a couple little twists and slowly pull it out. Gotta get that in there. All the tips nicely lined up. Now at this point, if you're tying a caddis or something, pull off the loose ones that are all over the place. All these tips would be nicely lined up. Right? Let's see if we can make this Chironomid a caddis for a second. So, now you can take your tips, lay them on your hook, right? If I wanted this to be a caddis, tie it in. It's saved. These things are necessary. If you want to be playing with any hair, you need one of these. So I hope that helped everyone a little bit. If anybody ever has any questions or concerns or anything like that, feel free to reach out to any pro staff member you see, or Togans directly if you have a simple question or anything. But also feel free to reach out with me at Tyler Ekdahl on Facebook or Instagram. You can probably get my link right through the Togans page. And I'm always available to answer some questions or give some tips or send a picture or something to people if they need a little bit of instructions or something. But yeah, that's a little bit of the fly tying tools basics. Stick with it, you'll get the hang of it. Watch videos, learn it, you'll fall in love with it. Before you know it, you'll have too many tools and too many things to do with them. Anyways, thanks again, guys. Togans Pro Staff, and thanks. I'm also going to take you guys through this cool little multi-tool Togan has. As you can see, retractable. This is usually attached to my fly vest. I can use it. Anyways, there's got your built-in nippers, cutting line and stuff. You got a built-in knot tool. You have a built-in hook sharpener. And if anybody ever asks you what that little thing is for, which I didn't know for a long time either. Little peg in there. They're on, sometimes you'll find them on other tools and stuff. But it's actually to clear out the hook of your eye, the eye of your hook, clear of if there's any resin or goop or anything in there. You just shove it through, clear them free, put your thread through. They're a great little multi-tool. I wouldn't leave without it. It's crazy to carry a tool for sharpening, tool for this, tool for that, when you can just have it in something this small. Pretty strong too. I've had this for months of fishing, yanking on this thing, and nothing, no wear and tear at all. So yeah, don't leave home without that. So another thing we're going to go through today is a hackle gauge, which Togans has a really cool one here. This can be very handy for you anytime you're using any type of hackle here. Right? They're using different colors. Here's some grizzly hackle. So the best way to use this guy is it has a little notch down here. And it has different sizes of hooks. It shows you the size of the hooks. And I'm going to put the camera down for this. Actually, maybe we'll do it like this. So, what you do here is take your hackle, whatever piece you want to use, and you bend it around this. Try to hold it and get the camera to zoom in on that. So if you see the very tips of this hackle, at this end of it, it's sitting around a size 8 size 8. So you use the very tip of this one. I have smaller ones. There's thicker ones, longer ones. So we'll take the very tip of this guy. This one's going to be a lot harder to see. So you take this guy, go around. Just going to see if there's a better way you guys can see this here. Could have maybe chose a better color. So anyways, we'll go back to it like this. So you take it, bend it around. Again, you can see this one now, the very tips of them are sitting around a size 12. And if we go to the very tip of this guy, if you use one, I have, like we said, we have smaller ones. I just grab one feather so you can see. So if you grab this one and pull some of the fibers, you can see they're sitting around a size 16 to size 20. That's exactly how we use the hackle gauge. I got thicker ones, I just showed you the taper on this one, but it kind of can gauge, so you can grab it and see that you'd want to use the bottom end of this if you're going to be tying something bigger up in the 6 and 8 sizes. Use the middle part, or you can find longer, thinner ones, as you can see in this package. There's some really tiny ones. They usually come in all mixed, right? So hackle gauge, pretty cool tool to have. Makes it a lot easier, takes the guessing work out of a lot of it. And then you don't have to be a sucker and have to tie. I've done, before I got a hackle gauge, I tied lots woolly buggers and stuff wrapping my hackle, and they end up way too long, and you have to hack it with scissors, and it just doesn't look as nice, right? So awesome.